There's only 7.
I think we're 7 o'clock, sir.
All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Can we do roll call, please?
Shook,
Here.
Rubio, Morris,
Jim's on.
Smith,
Here.
Nate, here, Steiner,
Here.
Sin, and Reiner.
Here.
Litz,
Go ahead and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
pledge allegiance to the United States
States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll go to the next item, be the consent agenda, and under that we have 2 different items. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
If there's no changes or anything, I may prove that we approve the consent agenda for this meeting.
I'll second it.
Who seconded it?
Who was that second?
So, oop,
Sorry, who was the second on that?
I heard Darren. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion will carry what do we got? 6. 6-0. Aren't we just missing 2? The next item will be the approval of this agenda.
Any changes, Jonathan?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I move we approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion will carry 6-0. I wasn't at the last meeting, so is there any unfinished business? Nope. We'll go ahead and move on to the new business, which first item under that is the consideration of Charter Ordinance number 16, which is amending Charter Ordinance number
Go up and
15.
sit in on this. Come talk to you when it's done.
Yeah, on Charter Ordinance 16, the only change we're making to Charter Ordinance 15 is raising the ceiling on the hospital bond issue to 15 million instead of 10 million. Trying to get this done to make sure they have adequate funding to do their project. And we also added a little bit of time frame. Before, they had to have a project authorized before the end of this year, and this gives them until the end of 2023 to do that. So just trying to provide them a little more flexibility on that project so we can help our hospital to grow.
I make a motion to consider the change from ordinance 16, amending the charter ordinance 15.
I second.
With that being an ordinance, we need a roll call, don't we?
Yeah, and you get a vote on this one, Mayor.
I get to?
Yes, sir.
Oh. Can we do a roll call vote, please?
Pope,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Mather, yes, Steiner,
Yes.
Reiner.
Yes.
And so I've got, Mr. Mayor, I think we had 7 plus you on that. Is that correct?
Yeah, there'd be 6 than me. Yeah, 7.
Because we needed to have at least 6 plus you on that. So we're in good shape.
Right on the dot. The next item is the city operations update.
So just a few things I wanted to touch on. The biggest thing I'm getting a lot of questions about is our reopening plan. And kind of what we're looking at doing is at least through the end of May, we'll try to do our council meetings through Zoom. And depending on what happens with the governor's plan, if it gets extended, we may revisit these meetings, but trying to keep them going through the end of May. And then starting next Monday, our plan is to restore all of our city staff to normal shifts. Right now, the bulk of our staff is doing staggered 12-hour shifts. So we're having one team work Monday through Wednesday, the other team Thursday through Saturday. And our plan would be to return that to normal on Monday, the 18th. And we're also looking at returning the trolley into service on Monday. And that's our plan now. We're trying to equip the vehicle with a few things to try to protect our drivers and passengers. And if something changes there, we'll make sure to let you know. But the plan is to have them rolling again on the 18th. June 1st, we would look to open City Hall. And if you've been to visit us at the office, you've noticed that we've put up some plexiglass sneeze guards and putting some markings on the floor to try to make sure social distancing is observed in the building. And then the plan that I get the most questions about is what are we doing with playgrounds and the pool? And as of now, our plan would be to open the playgrounds, public restrooms, and the pool at the beginning of phase 4, no sooner than June 15th, but whenever phase 4 begins. And for the playgrounds and public restrooms, we would just take extra precautions to clean those more frequently and try to sanitize those. But for the pool, it really is going to depend on staffing. And at this point, I feel like we need to open for our community, even if it's reduced hours. But we're going to have to do what we can with the staff we've got. So today we have 3 certified guards that want to come work for the city. We can't open a pool with that. But we've gotten a number of applications, and I think we're going to try to work with the city of Great Bend to send our staff through training and try to get them ready by the time the season would begin. Right now, the Red Cross has not opened the in-pool portion of the training, but we're going to try to get everything put together for that. So that's our plan now, is at the beginning of phase 4, but no sooner than June 15th, we'll get the pool open, and we'll try our best to adhere to any guidelines and restrictions from the state or from the CDC on that. So any questions on the reopening plan?
No, but you said you've had some more people send in applications, but you still got the certification part.
Yeah, they've still got to get certified. But Megan Hammocky over at Great Bend has said that they'll do everything they can to try to help us get our guards trained and ready. So that's really nice to have partners in our area that are willing to help out. I've gotten several responses to our Facebook post, and I think a lot of parents saw that we wouldn't be able to open the pool without guards, and they kind of spread the word. I even had a teacher from our school district with several children that said, hey, I don't really have the most flexible schedule, but I know how important the pool is to our community, and so I would be willing to go and get the training. If I was the one person that kept the pool from reopening, they would go and get the training themselves. So we've gotten a great response from that. But until I start getting applications in hand, it's a different story. So hopefully we'll get enough there. But my feeling is, even if we have to reduce the hours, I feel like it's critical that we open the pool. And is that what you guys think as well?
I feel that way.
Yes. Jonathan,
Yes, sir.
have you been in contact with the rec commission? Are they going to do anything this summer for the kids, or are they still up in the air just like we are?
Well, frankly, everything's really kind of at the mercy of the state and what they're doing. Their hope is to try to get things moving forward for some summer sports. I don't know that they've announced any schedule or plans, because it's so contingent upon the governor's plan and all that. But as I understand it now, they're hoping to do a summer rec program, and they're hoping to do some of the summer ball stuff. But I suspect it's all going to be pushed back, because if we don't open the restrooms until the 15th of June, you can't really have ball games without restrooms. And so everything's kind of being pushed back, but I think their intention is to have some summer activities going on.
Well, that's correct, because you can't have just in the second phase only 30, so we have to wait till at least 90, because 30 wouldn't cover the amount, you know. So I think they're talking June 15th also starting, if everything goes okay.
Yeah, and
Well, and
sorry, go ahead.
Chris, hadn't they sent something out to get some idea of people that are interested in kids playing so that they
Yeah.
could get some sort of a little bit ahead of the game on that?
Right, they're sending out text alerts, and people can sign up online. That way we have a general idea of the amount of kids that want to be involved. So, but as soon as Chris finds out more, that's just it. It's all such a waiting game right now.
Okay.
So we're working closely with the Rec Commission, and I know they're trying to get kind of gauge the interest in having participation this summer, but most of the parents I've talked to are really ready to get some activities outside of the home for their kiddos. So we're going to try to work to accommodate that. A couple other things I wanted to give updates on, aside from the reopening, is that our utility shutoff moratorium has been extended through the end of May. And so we will not be shutting off anyone's utilities for non-payment until at least June 1st at the earliest. This was something I think we probably would have done anyways, but the state has mandated this through the end of May. On the hotel project, we did have that property surveyed, and they put some stakes out there. We have a legal description, and so we'll be working with our city attorney to try to work out that property transfer for the parking area and all that moving forward. Also, I've been struggling to get bids on the City Hall project, and I didn't know where the council's been on this. We've been reaching out to a whole bunch of contractors trying to get bids. We had 3 we thought were going to give us bids, but they just, whenever we get close to the deadline, nobody wants to produce one. And so I didn't know what you guys' thoughts were, if we should just set a hard date of May 21st to have bids by 5 o'clock, or if we should just push this project back to the fall.
I think my feeling is maybe we just ought to wait with this project to the fall so we know what's going on. I think everybody is so up in the air that I think some of them are afraid to commit themselves.
Okay.
I agree, Jonathan, with everything that's going on right now. Maybe that's a good idea.
Okay, and Carol behind me said she agrees with that as well. And so if that's what I'm hearing from you guys, we'll just tell the contractors, hey, we still want to do this project, but we're going to move it back until the waters are a little more calm. So we'll do that.
I mean, we really don't have anything pressing with that, do we, that was needing it for?
I don't think there's anything real pressing on that.
Okay.
Couple other updates on wastewater treatment project. We believe the pump's going to be started up here in the next week or 2. So that project will be completed. Once we do the pump startup and testing, the wastewater lagoon project will be completed. And then we just have to close out with Department of Commerce and check that one off the list. So that's kind of nice to have a project finally wrapping up. The lime softening system, I was approached by a council member last week, or the week before, asking me what the status was of our lime softening system. And we'd had some issues with calibration on that. Turns out, in addition to calibration, we had some load cells that were tripping on us. And so now we've got it running again. And so hopefully it'll stay running. But our hardness levels did get up to about 190, where our range that we really like to have it in is 90 to 120. So it did get higher than our target range, but we're working our way back down. So that's running well. And then just on the budget side of things, you know, we're waiting on some of these projects like you guys have recommended. Budget's going to be really interesting this year because we're going to be doing a lot of guessing about what the impact of this whole pandemic is going to be on our budget and on our revenues, and just a lot of variables that we don't have any control over. But at this point in time, the state is not giving any extensions on that budget process. So we're going to have to really dig into that, probably jump in pretty hard in early July. I think normally we try to do mid-June, early July. And this year, I think we're going to push it back a little more so we have better ideas of what our revenues are doing. But that's really all that I had on the city operations update, unless you guys had any questions.
Did they have any compliments about Susank Road up there, what they did?
Gary asked if we've had any feedback on the Susank Road project, and all of the comments that I've heard on that project have been very positive. I think people were happy to see that improvement, and then we took some of the millings from that, and we've been using them at the cemetery and for other projects here at the city. So have you guys heard any feedback on Susank Road?
I haven't, but I haven't been out and about.
I know it looks nice.
I think it looks good.
It's
It
nice
looks
driving
a
down
lot
it.
better.
Another project I've got.
It looks pretty good.
What was that? The other thing I got was the bridge out there at the ballparks. I've gotten a lot of really positive feedback on that south bridge. They put up the handrails that B&B Metal Arts prepared for us, and I think it looks super good. My understanding on the north bridge is that we're still waiting on Bruce Bitter to finish that up and Scott Christians to install it. So it's nice to have local contractors that can do that work, but hopefully we can get that north one finished up here pretty soon.
Last time I was
It
by there,
looks
that
great, I
north one
think.
had the barricades dropped down. Somebody had kicked them over.
Yeah, we've asked our staff to put them back up, but we're going to keep that bridge closed until the rails are up.
I have a question, Jonathan.
Yes, sir.
Is that all that handrail is going to be? I mean, it's not going to come out any further?
I don't believe so.
I mean, I would just had a citizen ask me about that and thought maybe he said the way the concrete looked, you know, that approach, that maybe they was going to bring out some handrail at an angle there, which would put it closer to in that closer road. But if they're not going to put anything on there, I think it'd be all right.
Yeah, Jim, I don't think they plan on putting any more hand railing in there. Those bridges with the handrails cost us about $18,000 a piece, and the handrail was about $4,800 of that, I believe, per bridge. So I mean, we could look at doing more, but we didn't really have those funds set aside. Do you think it's acceptable the way it is, or do you?
No,
think
I was just. He was just concerned. No, he was just concerned that it was pretty close to the road, and that road doesn't get much traffic, but sometimes it does, and you never know when somebody might not be paying attention and would actually hit that and roll into the ditch. But my main concern was, are they going to put some more bolts in that? I went by there and looked at it, and they looked like they had a bunch of holes drilled, but they didn't have the bolts in.
I haven't been over to look at it, but I can follow up and see where that's at. I'm sure if there's a hole, there's going to be a bolt there. But
Yeah, I was just kind of curious as how they attached that. But I mean, each one of those brackets, each piece of that hand railing has like four holes at the bottom that it bolts into the concrete. I'm assuming that they still had some work to do on that.
yeah, I would assume so as well, but I haven't been out to follow up. I just know I've gotten a lot of really positive comments and feedback on those.
Yeah, they look pretty nice.
They did good work, but I'll make sure it's secure because we don't want to have any incidents with that. And if you guys don't have any questions, I think we could just move on to the next item.
Next item is the consideration of the appropriation ordinance number 1453. Everybody had a chance to read through them. Does anybody have any questions on any of them?
No.
Hey, Jonathan.
Did you have a question,
Changed the
Aaron?
format.
Yeah, while they're looking through that, residential lawns, vegetation growth, are they getting letters sent out? I mean, we've been around town and seen several yards that are well in excess over a foot tall.
Yes, sir. I'm glad you brought that up since we have an audience online now. The regulations for the city say that if any vegetation that is in excess of 12 inches is considered a nuisance right. And our staff has been very busy writing letters this year on that. I think it's going to be even worse probably next week or once the sun comes out. But yeah, we are writing letters on that. And if you have particular properties you're concerned about, you can give Dolores a call at 653-4995. And I think her extension's number 5. So she'd love to talk to you about that, I'm sure.
Also, just so you know, the properties up here on the north end of town, they really look good. The guys are doing a good job.
Excellent.
Nope, nobody has any questions on the payables.
Doesn't look like it, Mayor.
So the
I'm good.
motion on that.
I make a motion that we accept appropriation ordinance number 1453.
I'll second it.
I'll second it.
Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Shook,
Yeah.
Morris,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Mather. Yes. Steiner,
Yes.
Reiner,
Yes.
No executive session, so the next item would be adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0 adjourn.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Jonathan, did they go out there and check that, those trashes today? Do you know?
Yes, they did. And we had, we've already made contact with an individual who we think may have put a little bit of excess trash out there. And so we're dealing with that right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
I
you.
just didn't want that to be something that started up all summer long.
Yeah, definitely not something we want to keep going.